Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Development Hell podcast. And it's the movie club convening again as we give our last episode of 2025 here before the new year. And we're going to be diving into 1987's Coen Brothers comedy. It is Raising Arizona. And we got Griff, we got Kevin, we have Vinnie and Shane here to discuss this film. And, I'll give a little synopsis here and then we'll dive on in and we'll do what we usually do. So, is this your first time watching, or how many times have you seen it? And general thoughts, and then we'll dive on in. But with Raising Arizona, when a childless couple, an ex con and an ex cop, decide to help themselves to one of another family's quintuplets, their lives become more complicated than they anticipated. And this is indeed directed by, I'm just going to say the Coen brothers because, you know, stupid guild crap means that only Joel could actually be put on here as director. But directed by the Coen brothers, starring Nicolas Cage, Holly Hunter, Gray Wilson, John Goodman, Williams Forsythe. But let's go around the horn here. But Griff, let's get started with you.
Raising Arizona is a movie that I've been aware of for a long time, but I've never seen it before until the day before yesterday. I think my parents actually saw it in theaters at the time in the 80s, and I really liked the movie. It was zany, it was quirky, it was very entertaining, and it really showcased what a great actor Nicolas Cage was and still is.
Absolutely. Had a lot of fun with Nick Cage in this movie for sure. How about you, Kevin?
I'm actually looking at the Coen Brothers filmography right now because I wanted to figure out that this is apparently the fifth Coen Brothers movie I've seen.
Okay,
The only other ones I've seen to this point were Fargo, Big Lebowski, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and True Grit, the remake.
great ones.
I really enjoyed this. I liked the chemistry between all the cast, but especially Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter.
Mhm.
I thought they were both phenomenal. I really like Holly Hunter's comedic timing in this movie as well. I don't think I've seen her in too much, but she was a highlight for sure. The movie felt like a live action cartoon a lot of the
Mhm.
time. I enjoyed the slapstick in a lot of the action sequences. Uh, in particular, that foot chase where the dogs are running around stood
Yeah,
out to
it was
me. Yeah,
great.
I had a blast.
Absolutely. How about you, Vinny?
I had a lot of fun watching this. It was the first time I've watched it. It's definitely one of the it's I would say it's probably one of the top funniest Coen Brother movies I've seen. I definitely agree with Griffin when he said that it really showcased Nicolas Cage as a real comedic talent, especially when you consider that this came out the same year as Moonstruck, another comedy that Nicolas Cage starred in. So I thought he and Holly Hunter were terrific together. There was the zany dark humor that we've all seen in other Coen Brothers movies. I like I definitely laughed quite a bit during the car chase and the foot chase through the supermarket. Um, it definitely it was without a doubt like a very irritating movie, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
So I guess I'm the only one who had seen this before. I have watched this probably a good five, six times. At this point, I actually got a DVD set at one point with a bunch four Coen Brothers films, and they were all like this big. So this is my Raising Arizona that I have.
Cool.
So this was actually one of the first Coen Brothers films that I own. I've seen all of their films at this point, and even the films that they've done apart, and I hope they get back together. Despite the fact that I definitely like Ethan Cohen's films a lot more than I think other people do, and I think that Joel Cohen Macbeth film was fantastic. But they're my favorite directors, so this was exciting getting to watch this again and get a chance to talk about this. This film, fun fact. So Holly Hunter was Frances McDormand's roommate.
Yes.
So, which is how she got cast in this movie in the first place, because
Wow.
Joel Cohen and Frances McDormand are married, which is why Joel did Macbeth in the first place because she wanted to be Lady Macbeth. So, but this has all those elements of that early Coen's feel. The cinematography from Barry Sonnenfeld, who would go on to direct The Addams Family, Men in Black, the Netflix series on unfortunate events series, and everything. It just, which is so funny because there was moments where Jess and I were watching this, and she's just like, "Oh look, Evil Dead camera shot," and I'm like, "It's
Mhm.
because they were all friends and they worked on the movie together." And the that Barry Sonnenfeld style of like this exaggerated cinematography is so much fun. Before Deakins came on with Barton Fink and basically was their cinematographer for 2 decades at that point. And then the yodeling score from Carter Burwell is amazing. That music is so much fun. Did you all know that this is like Edgar Wright's like favorite movie?
I
It
didn't.
it doesn't shock me to learn that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He
Interestingly
Yeah.
enough, when Matthew McConaughey was asked, what movie he's watched the most, he said Racing Arizona.
Doesn't surprise me either. And yeah, this is the Coen's first like comedy, which is wild. But it still has like the crime thriller elements because there are there's so many criminals in this movie. And it's funny that almost all the characters are either criminals, cops, or bounty hunters, who make up this cast and this conflict. Nick Cage, this is one of Nick Cage's best performances,
Yeah.
without a doubt. He is so much fun. And one of the things that I think goes underappreciated about this is when he waxed poetic about like life and everything. And this film actually gets very sincere and honest and moving at times when it
Yep.
talks about life. That sequence at the very end where he's just like seeing into the future, like that hits. And I'm
Mhm.
like, they were like swinging people around by the camera spinning like 10 minutes ago, and now this is like hitting some real emotional impact here. So it also has one of my favorite cold opens of any movie because you get their whole entire relationship up until the point, and the whole entire thing where he keeps flirting with her and she's using the camera to take his mugshots and everything. But I guess what are some of the things that really stood out to all of you that you really liked about the film?
Well, first, I'd like to say it's a shame Jim isn't here because I really like that final line of the movie. Maybe it was just Utah,
Yeah.
or maybe it was Utah. That was the
Yeah.
line, right?
This one's for you, Jim.
But actually, I did want to start since you brought up the final scene.
Mhm.
I and just the way the film ended in general. I really like the way they wrapped that up. Uh, it didn't match a lot of like cookie cutter Hollywood endings where it's like the couple gets back together, which I didn't know if they were going to go that way. I hadn't seen it before when they had the interaction with Mr. Arizona at the end of the movie, and he says, "Well, before you do something like that, sleep on it." And
Mhm.
yeah, I liked how they ended it. They were two diametrically opposed personas, and they wanted to be together for whatever reasons, and they accepted it didn't work out. It was a healthy way to end it.
I want I want to know what you guys think of how near the end with the bounty hunter you see like you see like the pair of baby booties hanging from his outfit. Like I don't know, like I was like from there
And he
until the
had
end,
like the
like
Woody the Woodpecker tattoo too.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like I was fixated on like on those things, just like trying to figure out like a deeper meaning behind them. I wanted to know what you guys maybe thought of that.
What a thought watching last night, like, is Smalls like a post-apocalyptic time traveler version of High from this other place coming back and trying to take this baby away from them and stuff like that? Or like is he like the grown-up child from like the future? And there doesn't need to be any kind of explanation for that, but there's enough little details that the Coen brothers throw in there to get you thinking. And one of my favorite things about the Coen brothers is they don't give a but they probably just threw
Yeah,
stuff in there to try to make people think about it. And I can guarantee you they'll never actually give a real answer.
Because
fine
the
by
whole
me.
because the whole thing with the baby booties, like the closest I got to to an explanation was like I just figured, it was just a way to signify him trying to get the baby back for Mr. Arizona. But at the same time I figured that's too easy of an explanation. Like there has to be something else behind the baby booties.
So not just the baby booties, but like a lot of things with I'm sorry, what was the bounty hunter's name again?
It was Smalls, Leonard
Smalls.
Smalls, which
I,
is a
I
hilarious name to give this man who looks like he's ripped out of a Mad Max movie.
he
Mm.
does. But there's a lot of conflicting stuff about his character to the point where I didn't think he was real until he had that interaction with Mr. Arizona.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, like there's when he I think in one of the first scenes he rolls up in where it's outside of the Nicolas Cage dream setting.
Mhm.
He rolls up on his Harley to the a crime scene where
Right.
all these FBI agents are. They don't
Yeah.
pay him any notice.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Well,
So that
because I'm pretty sure he was hired to find Gail and what's the brother's name? Evil? John Goodman, William Forsythe's character. I'm pretty sure like Smalls is there to get them because he's a bounty hunter.
right.
And it leads them to High and Ed's trailer, where then he realized like there's a stolen baby here, which is why he shows up in Nathan, Arizona's store and everything. And
Yeah.
he's like, I have an opportunity here. Um, it's such an interesting character because like that moment when High sees him for the first time and realizes like, oh no, this guy's real. And because that's the thing, it's just like, and then I had a dream, and just like flames, and this guy going down this highway. And I thought it's such a fun detail thrown in this film. And the that whole altercation at the end where he pulls the pin and it has the most exaggerated, ridiculous
Mhm.
explosion of him at the end. It's like wild. I want to know how much that cost just to do that explosion. Oh,
That was great. Also, Ghost Rider vibes when he first rolls up, which funny
mhm.
because Nicolas Cage
Yep.
is in
Nicolas
this movie.
Cage, Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze.
He's
Yeah.
literally leaving a trail of fire on his motorcycle in that first dream sequence.
Yeah.
I
I
think that I do think it is supposed to be a mix of dream sequences. Uh, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I took it as maybe Nicolas Cage or High was having
was having a
these
premonition
dreams
or something.
about his actions, right? Something
Mhm.
related to his actions. Maybe he didn't quite put a face to it, and when he saw the guy, it just clicked for him, and he assigned that guy's face to his dreams.
Well, and like at the heart of this is such an endearing, like, it's so funny because they're such a weird couple. Because, like, in how many situations do you think a cop seduced by a con who keeps coming back? Which that Holly Hunter sells so much of this movie when she's standing there crying, like sniffling, taking the pictures, and Hyde just like, he made a mistake. And like that whole
Yeah.
entire interaction, like you
Oh,
can feel the connection.
well, and like I was really laughing when he asks her why she's crying, and she says my finance broke up with me.
Oh
My
yeah.
finance broke up with me,
It's a good
which
I
is
line.
caught that.
hilarious because she is George Clooney's wife in Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and
Oh, she
they
was?
also yeah they have a fun time with like can't talk
I
to
need to
my
rewatch that.
fiance that one. It's one of my favorite things about Coen Brothers films. Is like they're so very specific, and like the point where Ed's like things changed, and she just has this like really over exaggerated like how her mouth moves and everything. Haileigh Hunter is so great in this movie, and really leans into and this role and like Nick Cage is so much fun. Just the look to like the hair,
Hmm.
the mustache, all of it. And he's such a doofus, but like he's also like salt of the earth kind of wise. Where like he might seem like a dumbass, but he's a lot wiser of the world around him in terms of things. And this film is so ridiculous and over the top. And I think one of the best examples of that is John Goodman and William Forsythe. John Goodman and them just screaming
Oh
and
yeah, what an introduction.
like going out of the ground. And then when they realize they left the baby and they're just screaming down the road. And one of my favorite things is minor characters in Coen Brothers films. The guy that runs a convenience store that's counting
Oh my God,
is
yes.
Uh-huh.
great. And even like M. Emmett Walsh, who was the antagonist in their first film, Blood Simple, who was just like, standing there and telling stories in the factory that I works at and everything. There's all these characters, but John Goodman's one of my favorite actors, and he is hamming it up here. He's so good, and just like him making his just like comments off in the background when High and Ed are having problems. So many social engagements, so little time. And he's just so smug about it.
Well, in terms of minor characters, I think one of my favorites was Frances McDormand.
Oh
because
my god.
because
Yeah.
because like just the way how she and her husband barge in on Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter with like their 5 or 6 kids, and then she's just like steamrolling through with her opinions on like, what kind of doctor did you get? Did you put away enough money for college? Did you put enough money away for braces in case you need braces and this and that? Like I just thought that whole interaction when they're outside at the picnic table, just going through that whole routine was just hilarious.
Well, and because she's like, oh, did you put money away? Did you set up an account? Ah, we need to set up an account. And it's just Frances McDormand says something. Holly Hunter freaks out about it. And Nick Cage is just like, huh? Just the perfect comedic timing of that. And the that hold up in the convenience store that starts that whole entire yodeling action sequence. And Ed's reaction, and she's so mad at him and drives off, and he just starts gunning down the road, running away. The cops and the total disregard for public safety, just shooting
Just shooting through people's
everywhere.
homes. Yeah.
It really does feel like an old Wild West cartoon.
Yeah.
Like Kevin, you brought up the fact like this 100% feels like a live action cartoon. Like there's no doubt about it. This is a cartoon because everything's so ridiculous. Even like the fight that High has with Gale and John Goodman just destroying everything. And that whole shot of like Nick Cage on his back and the camera just spinning around.
He breaks a wooden beam when he's spinning him around. Yeah. I love the way they shot that.
And like that whole grocery store, and like the guy at the grocery store has like a shotgun and starts unloading it because everybody in Arizona has a gun. Which they do probably. Um,
He's got his gun and his Jugs magazine.
Chuck's magazine. And like that
Titties
woman,
times two is what it said.
the cop has him lined up and he just tucks the diapers at him and he falls back and the lady in the cart knocks him over and the dogs are chasing the lady with the cart and it just perfectly staged comedy. This movie is just so funny and the Coen brothers have such a dark sense of humor and that pops up in so many of their films but like this because they're actually a humongous fan of screwball comedies. So like this is a screwball comedy except with rednecks. So like that's the fun like twist on it is that because like a lot of old screwball comedies like you know bring up babies about an arc what a paleontologist and like
Yeah.
a trust fund girl. So like these aren't like salt of the earth type of people. You take all of that and then throw it into this silly out west redneck situation is just such a
Right.
Coen Brothers thing to do. And it's just so much fun because it's quirky, it's ridiculous. I love Barry Sonnenfeld's cinematography because it's so exaggerated. And the camera movements, the push-ins, the zoom-ins, all of it. It's just so much fun. This movie is so zany from start to finish.
So this might be a weird connection that I'm
Mhm.
making here, but have you all seen Weapons?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the scene with the kids running at the end
mm-hmm.
of that movie,
Yep.
the scene with the dogs in this one reminded me of that, just the way they shot it. That whole chase sequence reminded me of the chase sequence with the witch.
Well, let's not forget that Zach Kreger is from the whitest kids you know. So he started with comedy.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
it's one of those things where it's just like, I do appreciate filmmakers who can find ridiculousness and laughs in like the darkest places. And Weapons is certainly one of them. And like, let's be frank here. This is about kidnapping, escaped convicts, um, everybody's just shooting at each other. Like there's so much violence and terrible, dangerous people in this. And we didn't even mention I love Trey Wilson. I don't think I've really seen him in anything, but it's like, or my name isn't Nathan Arizona.
Yeah, he
And just
wasn't familiar to me, but he was good.
he was so good in this role. And he even had that nice moment that I think Kevin you brought up where he just like sleep on it.
Right.
And which is funny because watching this with Jess last night, and she's like, when the moment like him and his wife are just like listening to all the shenanigans, and they're just sitting downstairs, and he's like, "Why don't you go up and check on that?" And Jess was like, "Why don't you get your lazy ass up and go check on it?"
Oh, and speaking of criminals, I feel like the reason he was so reluctant to talk to the FBI is because he was definitely committing some mass tax fraud.
He
Mm.
is
They implied that.
definitely money laundering.
Yeah.
They deal in a lot of cash at Nate in that Arizona place.
I mean, he says as much when he's discussing the reward at the
It's
end of
like,
the movie.
how
He
about
says, well,
like I could
I'd
just give
rather
you
do it in
this
store credit for
for
tax
credits much
reasons.
better for my tax reasons. But I think there's even growth for that character because
Yeah.
like it made such so specific that he didn't, you know, get up and check on his kid earlier in the film. And then by the end, they find him in there. Uh
Right. Yeah.
he comes up and finds them in there. So like he went in and checked up on it. And I honestly think that maybe Nathan Arizona will be a better father after this situation because he definitely didn't seem like he was going to be part of the movie. And I think this has a lot of interesting things that, you know, how powerful the parole board scenes are in Shawshank Redemption. How we keep going back to that. They play that fully for laughs here, which the
Yeah.
panel of the three of them, perfect minor character casting because the three parole board people, these old people, and that's what we call a repeat offender. And those scenes are, I think, more important than like we realize at the beginning of the film because this really is about can high grow. And I think by the end, that whole flash forward thing and him sleeping on that and thinking about that, I think he is reformed at this point. And it wasn't him getting sent to prison so many times and all of that. It was this whole situation that put his life in perspective where he almost lost this baby. He could have lost Ed. He saw the life that his two buddies has. I would love to see what happened when John Goodman, William Forsythe just show back up in the prison, back in their
Yeah.
cells like nothing has happened, covered in blue paint.
If that's
I
where they
guess
went.
if that's where they went. I would like to think that it is. I think they're like, we need to change. I think them being dads for like however long they had the little baby, um, changed their lives for the better. I think it did. I would like to think that it did. Um, now just I could just hear specifically John Goodman scream because it's so deep of that car just driving down the road and you could literally hear them from the car and everything. But I guess were there any other things that really stood out to all of you that you wanted to touch upon?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Griffey. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, actually, Kevin, going back to what you were saying, because the movie was so zany, I really didn't know what to expect, as far as the ending was
Yeah.
concerned, but it all really came together. And, Shane, too, doing my research on the movie, I found out that, oddly enough, Kevin Costner auditioned for HI 3 times.
Huh.
Honestly,
I can actually see that.
I could see that. But like I can see him in the whole getup and everything, but I'm glad it wasn't him.
Yeah.
Because I don't think this movie would be as good as it is without what Nick Cage is in this movie.
Yeah, no doubt one of his best performances.
Well,
Go ahead, Kevin,
it's
or
that
Vinny.
that Nicolas Cage energy you can't beat. You can't like no one
Right.
like, no
Absolutely.
one else can replicate it.
No, it's one of those things where it's just like if you need a Nick Cage type, you gotta get Nick Cage because there is no other Nick type. It's just like if you need that energy in your movie, you need to get him, and you probably can. He has a lot of debt. And there was God, I'm so glad we've gotten past the point where he lost all that money on buying expensive comic books and getting in a whole bunch of tax problems that he's finally not just saying yes to every movie. Because there was like a good 10-year period there where he said yes to everything and he made some real turds. Like he made some really bad movies in that
That was his
period.
Mr. Arizona phase. That was his Nathan Arizona phase.
His name in Arizona phase. Just like it makes me so happy now that he had Mandy and
Long legs.
Big long legs.
Cuckoo.
I wore my long legs today.
He was
I
doing a lot of
100%.
comedies around this time, right? Like, if any, you mentioned Moonstruck.
Oh
This
my
was
god,
a
he is
year for him.
so great in Moonstruck.
I love
Also,
Moonstruck.
I'm perturbed by how hairy his chest is in Moonstruck because he's wearing the whole entire time.
This movie too, but not as frequently.
Yes, you can't see his chest as much as you can in Moonstruck. And him just screaming, being ridiculous in that movie. Which is funny because he is an Italian American. Because his name is indeed Nicholas Coppola. So there you go. He is a legacy artist, not a Nepo baby.
That's right. And he was really funny in this.
Yep.
And I like the way they handled the humor in this movie in general. As you've all been saying, it does alternate a lot between the outlandish slapstick and
Mhm.
some sense, like the occasional sensitive moment. But as for the comedy, I like the way they do their callbacks in this movie. There's the whole thing where in the beginning, when they're getting the house ready for baby Arizona, he throws the little porno mag under the mattress. And then later on, during the chase scene, the cashier has to set aside his little porno mag to grab his shotgun. And there's the scene with what's his name? Glenn.
Oh,
Earlier,
I hate,
yeah,
hate that character so much. He's
earlier in the
so good.
movie, they kind of reuse the same joke. There's the scene where Nathan Arizona is being interviewed by the FBI, and I forget what they asked him, but he says, "Oh, I don't sleep naked in this. No one sleeps naked in this house." And then later on, when Glenn is pulled over by the Polish cop, he has a bumper sticker or a sticker on his window that says, "Warning: I sleep naked and I drive naked." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's the same joke
I didn't even
twice in
pick up on
different
that.
characters." Yeah,
I was too busy. It's like, and he told one too many Polish jokes, and it just
yeah.
cuts
And that in itself as
Officer
well. Like
Kowalski.
all
I'm
the
like,
jokes tied together. I
and
like
then it
that.
just
Yeah,
click of the pen. I'm like, damn, got him.
I'm sure there's a billion other examples. Those are the only ones that came to mind. But the whole movie was set up perfectly. I feel like it was immaculately written.
Sam McMurray is one of those actors who just pops up in so many things. And he's such a good character actor who played Glenn. And he's such a smug piece of crap in this movie. And it's like, yeah, we're swingers. And like, jacks him.
Yeah, that was great.
That
I only
was
knew
so
him
good.
as Chandler's boss on Friends, who keeps slapping his ass.
Yeah. Oh man, this is such a fun movie, and this is it's so awesome that the Coen brothers are able to find ways to make comedies in such creative ways. Like obviously this has Western motifs to it. It has crime thriller motifs to it. The Big Lebowski is a film noir. Instead of a private investigator, he's just kind of a bum who winds up in the whole weird situation in the first place. And like Intolerable Cruelty is a screwball comedy, too, which that's if you haven't seen Intolerable Cruelty, I think that's one of their most underappreciated movies. George Clooney and Catherine Zeta-Jones are so perfect in that. I would recommend all of them. Soft recommend for Lady Killers. It's definitely their worst movie. But I still have fun with it. I own all of their movies, as you could probably imagine. But any like last final thoughts here on Raising Arizona?
Really
Well,
fun.
I'd recommend it to any Nicolas Cage fan, any Coen Brothers fan who hasn't seen it. Just go for it.
Just go for it.
If you're just getting into the Coen Brothers, it's definitely a nice gateway movie for them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like I need to rewatch it again, and I'm sure I'll appreciate it more the second time. But it was great on the first watch.
And this is
I
an
feel like I missed so
easy
much.
94 minutes. It is lean,
Oh, it
it
flew
is
by.
fast, and it's so good. That's the thing. Coen Brothers don't make a ton of like, I think their longest movie's like 2 hours. Like maybe it's slightly over 2 hours. They really work well in that like 100, 105 minute range for a lot of their movies. But this is a great comedy, absolutely hilarious, obviously very influential. You know, Edgar Wright loves it. And Matthew McConaughey, all right, all right, all right. Can you imagine Matthew McConaughey as high?
Oh, that would actually work. That would
Yeah.
work.
Like if this was made
Again, it would
like
be too
10
different.
years
It'd be too
later,
different.
if it was 10 years later, it definitely would have been Matthew McConaughey in this movie. But these are our thoughts on Raising Arizona, and that's a resounding, you should go check this one out. And next month, we're going to be celebrating the new year by celebrating a film that has turned 10 years old in 2025. So we will be highlighting a 20, uh, keep wanting to say 2015. I'm like, that is not how that's said. 2015. My God. But from Griff, from Kevin, from Vinnie, and from Shane. Thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting the Development Hell podcast.